Welcome back to the next fateful step. I'm your host, Kate Blessed, author of the upcoming book Fail First, Adapt, Align, launching this December 9th. If episode 1 was about the whisper that begins a calling, this episode is about the part that no one likes to talk about. What happens when you try and fail? For our episode 2, we're going to talk about when failing first became my breakthrough. I want to start with a truth that took me years to accept. You will fail long before you succeed. And sometimes failure is not the enemy. Sometimes failure is the invitation. Now, hear me out. There were moments in my early years in Japan when I questioned everything: my purpose, my abilities, my dream, and even my identity. There were days when I felt like I was pouring everything out, yet nothing was working. I felt like a beginner all over and over again in a country where I could not even speak the language. My first attempts were messy, imperfect, very confusing, and humbling. And yet those failures became the foundation of everything I built later on. If you are listening and watching right now and you feel like you are failing at teaching, at parenting, at business, at adjusting to Japan, at rebuilding your confidence, I want to tell you something gently. Failing does not mean you are not meant for the dream. Failing means you are learning how to carry it. When I look back at the obstacles I faced, I now realize something I could not see before. I realized failure prepared me to receive the opportunities I once prayed for. It shaped my character, it grounded my ego, it taught me resilience, humility, and grit. It refined my spirit. And that is exactly why the first word in my book title is fail. Fail first. Because if you are brave enough to fail, you are brave enough to grow. If you read my book when it launches on December 9th, you will see how each failure I experienced became a doorway to alignment, not a dead end. But for now, let this truth settle in your heart. You cannot skip the failing part and jump straight to success. The failing is what shapes the successful version of you. Think of it as a seed. It does not bloom in the sunlight. It blooms in the soil, in darkness, in pressure, in silence. You too may be in the soil right now. It does not mean you are buried. It means that you are being planted. Trust your season, trust the soil, trust that God, the God who placed that seed in you, and trust that every failure is preparing you for a future you cannot yet see. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. If this message touched something deep inside you, I invite you to the journey further with me. My book Fail First, Adapt, Align will be available on December 9th on Amazon worldwide. It carries stories behind today's lesson, stories I cannot share in full here. Stories of failing, falling, rising, and being guided, even when I thought I was lost. If you are in a season of uncertainty, I wrote this book with you in mind. Follow me on Facebook and YouTube at Kate Bless for updates on the launch and the new content. And remember, dreams do not start perfect. You do not need to have it all figured out. Just take the next faithful step. See you in episode 3. Stay aligned, stay hopeful, stay faithful.